well, I don't want to tie up the property. I just want to go ahead and list it then. I said, that's not a problem. But you just said you didn't want to list it because it's going to take about 3 to 6 months to get your price. He's like, no, if I do it at a discount, I'm not even living there anymore. I said, I'll tell you what. What if you gave me the option to buy the house, and I would mark it to see if it's even worth what I'm buying it for? If not, in the same time, you can still market and do what you need to with this property. He's like, that sounds like a great deal. Let's do that. So we entered into this lease option memo. So what this lease option memo says is that the seller will allow me, the buyer, to lease option this property at this address. The purchase price to be $315,000. The term of the lease to be 60 months, 5 years. Monthly lease payment to be exactly what his mortgage is. And I think it's like $1,800 is what it is, like $1,776. So got my price, my term, my monthly price that I would do to him. It says the term, what? To him, yeah. The term of the lease option begins as soon as buyer acquires a lease option tenant for the property. So we have the terms in play, but until I find someone that's going to move into it, nothing happens. So it's on hold. This lease option memo or agreement memo will be assigned to the buyer to a new lease option tenant. So I'm just going to assign my terms with this guy over to him, to the new person. Seller may use buyer's lease option agreement forms or may use form that the seller chooses when the tenant buyer moves into the house. I did? Okay. Oh, yeah. Seller has a right to approve or reject new lease option tenant. Yep. So they can reject the person. I mean, the guy walks in with gauges and tattoos and whatever. And I'm like, oh, not my house. Or it could be like, brother, what's up? So it's completely up to them. Then, of course, this line that we just read, seller may cancel this agreement anytime if they find their own tenant or decide not to sell. No harm, no foul. It's completely on them. Like, sure, man, let's test the waters. I might get what I'm looking for that's $40,000. So
they can market to sell.
They can do whatever they want with it, yep.
So basically it's a race to find the buyer.
Pretty much. That's what it is. Seller agrees to allow buyer to put a sign in the yard, advertise the property for sale. If buyer does not acquire lease option tenant, this deal is to assign this deal to within 90 days of acceptance of the lease option memo. The memo becomes null and void. Important disclosure, buyer is principal in this transaction and is not a licensed real estate agent. Buyer does not represent anyone in this transaction but themselves. That's all it is.
We ignore the back half of that paragraph.
Buyer's intention? Which part?
Lease option tenant will then pay seller the monthly lease amount until they exercise their option. I don't understand that last.
Oh, okay, great. Good. So the person who's I'm going to assign this property to, they are going to, so let me take 2 steps back here. If I decide to execute this agreement as is, I'm just collecting an assignment fee and stepping out of the deal completely. If that's the case, then this person will pay the seller the monthly fee until the 60 months is up, or they bought the house, or they refinanced or purchased the house prior to that. So they're going to go with the original terms that were already disclosed. I'm using this only to test the market. If I find someone that's interested in that house, scrap this. I'll buy this house, Mr. Seller, because I already have my terms set up. I know that they're willing to accept payments at $1,800. I'm just basically going to give them the $40,000 and buy the house and seller finance it to this person over here.
You can get at least $40,000.
Yeah. So what happened in this situation was, put on the market. I put it on the market for $365, no takers. Dropped it to $345, no takers. At that point, 21 at first, $2,000 on the second. The problem was coming up with a $40,000 down payment. No one wanted to do that. Went back to him. He goes, look, man, I don't even care. I'm already moved out. And I'm living with my girlfriend. I love her body and everything else that she comes with her. And I'm like, oh, dude, hey, too much information, man. I'm like, I'm cool, man. I don't know what happened, but between you and your wife, but I have just a good guess. But Dorsey, the ink isn't even dried yet, and you're like on to the next thing. So the wife called me shortly after that, two weeks later, and she could not get qualified anywhere. She's like, look, house is in pre-foreclosure, by the way. Just got filed notice of default this month, last month, in May. What?
Use the
No.
No?
Mm. She said, I can't go anywhere. I don't have good credit. Obviously, your house is in default. And she's like, and I have no job. She wanted the money so she can put like a large down payment a year to just buy her some time. And no one was going to approve her anyway. So she's like, look, I'm not gonna sell the house. I'm just gonna stay here as long as I can. I'm gonna try to work something out with the bank. Hey, fantastic. Let me know if I can help you with the bank. Because I now know where this is gonna go. She doesn't have any money. Is the bank gonna work with her? She has no way to repay that loan. Get some roommates, get something in there. But so I'm following up with them. I plan on just picking this house up just to bring it current for whatever it is. Maybe giving her a couple of bucks to move somewhere, but she has nowhere to go. And it's either a couple of bucks or she's going to get kicked to the curb by the sheriff when they take the house.
So in that case, you're planning on doing that, but with the husband, you still got to, or the ex-husband, whatever, you still got to work with him, and he still wants 20 grand, like, or is he lowering his standards as you get closer to auction?
He doesn't care.
With the body.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's happy with the body. Yeah. So he has his new body, new honey. The way that I plan on approaching it with him is he has kids at home with his wife still. I'm like, look, man, dude, I'm doing this to make sure your kids have a place to go. Because if not, they're going to be on the street. Or they're going to be screwing up your new lifestyle with your girlfriend. Dad, can we move in?
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. So that's going to be my approach with that guy. But this is the way to test the market, get in, and have no commitment at all to buy. You're just testing the market. Like, hey, man. Very non-threatening. I've used this so many times.
So this basically doesn't hold anything. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean it's garbage.
You could even.
Actually, this is amazing.
But it gives you something to market.
This is gold.
It gives you the right. It gives you the right to
Yeah.
market.
Yes, it does.
Can they still go get a real estate agent?
Sure they can.
Oh, they know this?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He can choose not to sell it to me or not to do it. Yeah. The question then becomes, if he gets a real estate agent involved, if I'm not excluded from that contract, then it does throw a wrench in things, because now if I do lease option the property or I do sell or finance it or do something with it, it begs the question, does that agent get a commission because property has transferred ownership under their watch? So if that is the case, because I'm in open communication with them, I said, look, we don't know yet if your agent's going to sell the property or if I'm going to buy it myself. And if I end up buying it myself, I want to be excluded from that agreement so that you don't have to pay commissions on an arrangement we already had pre-existing. So I usually get myself excluded from those contracts. Yeah.
Have you ever just given them a form or is there a form that you can give someone so that they can just hand that to their agent, have them sign it? It says Ryan Nickel is excluded from blah, 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 blah. So just make it easy.
It's on the contract. It's on the car contract. You can do an exclusion.
I just did one for a guy. Gave me 2 exclusions. He sold it to the first exclusion.
Oh, suck.
He paid me anyway.
He did. Well, good for you, man. That's really good.
He paid me anyway.
How do agents deal with exclusions? Like if the seller says, hey, I want to exclude Ryan Nickel, is there just one way to do it? Is there just one checkbox? Can they try to
One
weasel
checkbox
around
and
it?
a list of names.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
It's just one checkbox and a list of names, and depends on the agent. For me, it was like whatever you want.
And
Right.
just to be clear, this is excluding them from them getting a commission.
Correct.
Right. If you found somebody before our arrangement that may buy the house, name them now. And
Or forever
if
hold your
they-
peace.
If they buy it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
No problem.
So
The owner, in my particular case, paid me the commission anyway.
which is awesome, which is totally cool. And you probably earned it because you're a hard worker. So this little piece here ended up costing me, I invested about $10,000 in this little piece right here to get access to it and understand it and go through the process of learning it. No, I didn't have them write it up specifically for me. It was a guy that, I don't know how much he spent to do it, but this has been tested in almost every state. I use this quite a bit when I'm,
Are any
when someone's like leery, when they're like, I don't know, I was like, hey, you know what? This is completely easy. Let's just do this.
Is any of your stuff from Joe McCall?
No. Joe McCall does have my book, though. He does market my first book. Any questions on the marketing side of things? This basically is your right to market the property.